Good afternoon. Taxi and other hire car services, including rideshare, are a crucial element of the urban transport system in Australia. Unlike other forms of public transport that are modelled on regular scheduled timetables and fixed pick-up and drop points, i.e. bus, rail and ferry services, taxi and hire cars offer a more personalised and flexible transport solution to consumers. The service provided by this industry is acutely important for some groups within the community where public transport is not a viable option. Uber's launch into the Australian market in October 2012 was met with bated enthusiasm from consumers and prospective drivers, but also strong opposition from the taxi industry. Prior to Uber's entrance into the Australian market, the taxi industry enjoyed a strong monopoly within the transport sector, allowing them to free rein when it came to the level of service offered and setting of fares and booking costs charged to consumers. Fast forward to 2020 and the competitive landscape of this industry couldn't be more different from what it was 8 years ago. Today's market is currently 70% dominated by 5 major players. Of this group, 3 are ride-sharing services. Coming in at number 1 is Uber, followed by Ola, GM Cabs, A2B Australian Taxi Corp, and finally Didi. Ride-sharing has been adopted by consumers in Australia at an ever-increasing rate, all to the detriment of the taxi industry dwindling its market share. A Roy Morgan report produced in April 2019 has identified that the popularity of Uber continues to grow, with nearly 4.3 million Australians aged 14 and above now travelling by Uber over an average three-month period. This number equates to 20% of the Australian population. As Uber goes from strength to strength, and the report has confirmed that the usage of taxis continues to decline. The largest slumps in taxi usage have been felt in Queensland and Western Australia, with more moderate falls in Victoria and New South Wales. Uber was formed in 2009 by Garrett Camp and Travis Kalanick. The concept of the sharing economy, where goods and services are exchanged for the use of the internet and other information and communication technologies, ICT, has transformed the way consumers conduct transactions and a strategy used by almost all of the ride-sharing services currently on offer. The point of difference this provides to the consumer is simplicity and convenience. The simplicity is achieved through the use of Uber's developed smartphone application. The app is easy to navigate and straightforward in its design. All the consumer needs is a smartphone and a working internet connection. Text message functionality is also available in the event internet is not present. Uber also prides itself on the convenience of its service provided. By simply marking a location within the app, an Uber driver can easily locate you within an average time frame of about 4 minutes. This is especially advantageous when you find yourself without a ride in the middle of the night or at an empty taxi rank. Another convenience is the payment method. Not everybody holds cash these days, and therefore Uber deducts the cost of each fare directly from your nominated billing account. This way of payment ensures that each fare is regulated and prices will not be inflated or manipulated by drivers during high demand times. When first entering the Australian market, Uber replicated this disruptive innovation strategy that has been used successfully when infiltrating other markets throughout the world. The aim of this strategy was to knowingly disrupt the taxi industry through offering a similar service but with a difference. Disruptive innovation is not a new concept. Coined by Clayton Christensen, the hypothesis identifies the way in which a new entrant into an already established market provides and elevates the service or product on offer, threatening and displacing the already established competitors. By doing this, the new entrant carves a niche and therefore gains a competitive advantage over other players. The way in which Uber used this strategy can be understood through 7 key principles. The first being elimination of notable transaction costs. For far too long, the taxi industry maintained a tight monopoly over the private transport industry, giving them free rein when it came to rates and booking charges. Uber has come in and ensured that no charges are applicable when reserving a vehicle through their mobile app. Another point of difference is the fact that Uber are not bound or comply with state and national regulations, reducing the burden and running costs associated with services provided. Point 2. Relating back to the sharing economy, Uber provides potential vendors the opportunity to turn assets, i.e. their vehicles, that are either unused or unutilised into potential income earners. Uber differentiates itself from the taxi industry by being able to brush over any licensing systems that would normally apply. Uber does not maintain an employer-employee relationship, as such allowing drivers to maintain a degree of freedom when operating. Point 3. Technology. The utilisation of a mobile application is possibly the most ingenious strategy Uber has implemented. Consumers in this day and age use their smartphones for almost everything they do. Uber has taken full advantage of the collaborative consumption by designing a mobile app that is very easy to use and packed with a multitude of features that make the service on offer appetizing to a broad range of customers. Point 4. Flexible pricing model. The fact Uber is not bound by any fair regulations, allowing the business model to be flexible and adaptable when it comes to pricing. Uber differentiates itself by claiming to be a ride-sharing service and not a taxi company. By doing this, it removes its obligation to be bound by the taxi regulatory framework. By adopting this approach, Uber can therefore be its own regulatory body when it comes to pricing, raising or lowering its rates, according to the demand that the service is being requested. This is a flexibility that the taxi industry cannot currently match due to national and state legislation in Australia. Moving on to point 5, frictionless and convenient transactions. As mentioned earlier regarding convenience, Uber will request your billing information when signing into the service. After the completion of each ride, the total will be automatically charged to that nominated account. Using this method, Uber is offering its users a cashless transaction, whilst at the same time giving drivers a peace of mind that they will be paid and not become victim of fare dodgers. Point 6. Uber's business model allows both customers and service providers to rate their experience at the end of each trip. For example, if a driver falls below a certain threshold, that provider may be removed from Uber's pool of recommended drivers. The same principle then applies to the users of the service. Should a consumer be found to put a driver's health and safety at risk, this person will be unable to utilise the service moving forward. This rating system encourages drivers and consumers alike to maintain a high quality and safe environment for all involved. Finally, point 7, being fearless. Some may argue that this isn't a term associated with strategy, but since its inception, Uber has developed a reputation for not backing away from a fight, often going against the grain and challenging the rules and regulations associated with the country it is trying to infiltrate. Since the beginning, Uber has shown its business to be fearless and aggressive when taking on transport industries and government regulators associated with the country it operates in. Playing hardball is something Uber has shown it's willing to do to ensure it remains a market leader with an ever-growing ride-sharing market. Thank you for your time and I appreciate you listening.